Good morning, YouTube family. John here, Ridgeview Homestead. Today we're going to be doing a special project on the camper. I'm going to be replacing the existing 10-gallon hot water heater with an instant hot water heater. So that way we won't have to worry about, showers, cleaning, etc. So let's take a look here. This is the hot water unit right here. Got some wiring. There's some plumbing tucked in back here. And we have our gas line way back there. It's kind of hard to see. It's that black pipe back there. So, oh yeah, and I also have the power source as well. Okay, so we're outside here on the side of the coach. I tried to get the drain plug off. I don't have a socket large enough for that, and it's really difficult to get in here with the wrench. So I'm gonna have to try to lift this sucker out of here. I have a few bolts. These green bolts right here hold the face plate on, and then these longer bolts right here, or screws, whatever you want to call them, hold the actual unit to this. So I have to remove all of that to get it out. The one problem I'm having is that I bought a unit prematurely. I didn't measure, I just assumed they were all the same size, but they're not. So I ordered a unit, and it's smaller by about that much. So, and it's a little, so it's just smaller. It's about 3 inches width-wise and about 3 inches from top to bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to build this out, but I need to still use the existing cover because the cover will seal it. I can't make the hole smaller. So I really messed that up. I thought about ordering another one, but then I would be out almost $500 for the unit. I ordered it months ago, and I've learned my lesson. Definitely need to check that before, because there are different sizes. So we're gonna make it work. So let's get to work and see what we can do. All right, so I went ahead already and I disconnected all the wiring. It's, pretty much green to green, blue to blue, red to red. So I went ahead and disconnected that. Back in here, it's kind of hard to see, but there is a cold water line on the top and the hot water line on the bottom. Now, when I disconnected the hot water line, it started leaking because, of course, the water settles. So I'm gonna have to, since I can't get the drain plug open, I'm gonna have to work pretty quickly. So I gotta go outside and get that whole face trim plate all taken apart, and then we can pull it out. Okay, I disconnected my pipes. This is the cold, that's the hot, or vice versa. It's marked. Sorry, the top is the hot, the bottom's the cold. I had to plug that with a bag because I couldn't open up the drain plug. It was rusted shut. But I got the electrical disconnected. I got to disconnect the main electrical and then pull it out. So let's go outside and take a look. Say hi, Woogie. Say hi. All right, so I got the face frame all pulled off. I have to disconnect my electrical connection right there, wire nuts, etc. So we're gonna go ahead and take care of that, and then we will pull this unit out. Unfortunately, it's full of water, so it's gonna be a little heavy. So I'll bring you guys back when I got that all done. Okay, so there's one big hole in the side of my camper. A little bit of dirt and debris. We'll get this all cleaned up. We'll get all of the excess caulking all around, all cleaned up, and then we'll start building this out. This right here is wood. I'm sorry, it's not wood. It's aluminum with a little bit of wood on the outside with the fiberglass, and then there's a little bit of wood on the inside. So I'll have to take some measurements and figure everything out, and then start cutting some wood and get this bad boy back installed. I do have a little problem. One of the O-rings popped off. I don't know if you can see it way down in there. Yeah, you can't see it. Well, all I have is a Phillips head screwdriver and a little painter's opener thing. So I'm gonna try to fish it out with that. Okay, well, I got the outside perimeter all cleaned up. Got all the glue and caulking and all the sticky stuff off of there. So we're good to go. Now what I have to do is I have to take this all apart right here, this whole contraption. On the new hot water heater, the hot and cold inlet are only 4 inches apart. So I have to take this apart here, cut some of this out and lower it down so the hot and the cold are approximately 4 inches apart. So I'm gonna work on that, trying to get this taken apart. Got the water turned off, but there's still water in the lines. Oops, righty tighty, lefty loosey, John. Trying to balance on a ladder here. Not that high up, but still trying to balance on a ladder and work in this small little hole here. Oh, hopefully this is not cross-threaded. I didn't buy a new fitting. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, this has been stuck on here for years. So I'm sure it's not going to be easy to get this off. I think I might have to slice this. Luckily, I only need a little bit. So trying to get in here. There we go, that worked good. All right. Well, this guy should come off. Probably gonna have to cut that to get that off. This is a great tool to have in your arsenal of tools. You can cut up to about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inch pipe. They have different sizes. It can go all the way up to 5 inches. Great for cutting PVC, the polyethylene, PEX, all that stuff. And it makes a nice clean cut. It has a nice little sharp blade on there. And it's just a ratcheting action. Jumpa, 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 jumpa. So we'll cut this off right here. And the other nice thing is it makes a nice clean cut. See that? Nice and clean. So now this guy should just slide right off. Perfect. This guy will slide right off. So we'll do the same thing down here. We'll make a little slice without slicing through my finger. And whatever you do, don't break the fitting. Well, here comes some water. All right, so now we'll take this and we'll shorten it to the dimension that we need. And we'll put this back together so that these guys are closer. So it'll look something like this when it's all back together. So we don't really need that much because these only need to be 4 inches apart. Oh, there's something in here. Let's see if I can get whatever's in there out. Something's blocking that. There's something crusty in there. I'll have to get like a, I don't know, something pointed. Maybe a drill bit, and I can break that out. All right, or grab a long screw. Let's see what this is in here. Whatever it is, it's sure not going to help the water flow any. Oh, come on. You gonna fight me? Something's lodged in there. Looks like caulk or something. Holy cow. Oh, it's an old rubber washer. Look at that. That was probably hurting the water flow quite a bit. That was wedged in there. So that was a great find. It was probably somebody, looks like somebody replaced this, and it was the collar of that. So it was inside there. So we'll get rid of that. So we'll put this guy back on there. It's like a little washer. It helps to seal it up. I do have some new ones, so I think, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this off. Actually, I'll swap that out in a minute. I'm gonna go take a measurement, and then we'll come back and we'll make the cut. All right, so first I'll cut this little part off here where I nicked it. So we'll go just below the nick. Cut that off. There we go. All right, so we need to be 5 inches apart. So we'll try to bring these guys together here. So 5 inches apart. So I think we'll do a 3.5 inch piece. Give me a little bit of wiggle room. So let's see here. 3.5 inches. It's going to be about right here. All right, so we have our 3.5 inch piece. 3.25. That'll work. So we'll put these guys back together, and they'll be nice and tight. So it's just a compression style fitting. It goes over this flare. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's got a little flare on the end of it. It's kind of like a cone shape. So when you put this pipe on there, it's kind of like a barb. That would be more of an accurate way to say it's a barb. So it grabs a hold of it, and then we have the pipe in there, and then we screw this back on, and it holds it all together. So let's get that back together. We'll slide our pieces on right here. Oh, gotta do it the right way, John. Okay. All right, so we'll get this one on. Actually, we can take these off. That sucker is tight. I guess that's a good thing. Okay. We'll slide that back on there. We'll just snug it up for now. This one's going to be a little bit trickier. We have to push. Give it a little wiggle. Come on. Come on, baby. Get always put a little bit of soap on it. If you're having a hard time, it'll slide on there. All right, so let's double check our measurements here. Make sure we're about 5 inches. Middle to middle, it's about 5 1/4, but we do have a little bit of wiggle room here, I think. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to bend it that much. So let's see, center to center is 5 inches. I'm gonna go double check my measurement real quick. All right, so I just tossed it in there, and as you can see, we have a big gap. So we're going to center it in the opening. So we're gonna have to make a frame for it to fit in. Might go a little bit to the right here because of the exhaust here. It's like right in the middle, but that exhaust door is right here. So I have to do a little bit of test fitting and try to figure out exactly, you know, how much off the bottom. I want to try to center it, so that's the goal, but we'll see if we can make that happen. I'll do some more test fit and stuff, and we'll bring you back and we'll see where we're at. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to shorten the water lines. You can see how far away they are. So I'm probably going to, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna shorten this end here, bring it in. So that's gonna be a little bit tricky. I'm probably gonna have to do that after I, quote unquote, get it installed. All right, so here's my electrical line right here. That's gonna go over to these wires right here. So we have black and red. These two blue wires go to the remote control, and that I'm gonna install on the other side of the panel here. The remote control looks like this right here. I guess it's not a remote control, it's just a panel. So you can turn the hot water heater on, you can adjust the temperature up and down. This product is made by Gerard, right here, Gerard Products Incorporated. I found this particular unit online, and then I remembered watching a video from the Hollars, and Ben Hollar had mentioned that he bought this exact unit and installed it on his camper. So that really enticed me to go out and purchase it. He said it was a pretty easy installation. He did tell me that it was a smaller unit, so he had to do what I'm doing, and that's boxing it in and using the old door. I should have listened a little bit better when he told me that. But anyways, yeah, it's you know, a 5-star rated unit. I got it on Amazon. We'll try to leave a link below about the product. If not, we'll just at least tell you, you know, the name and the brand and all that stuff. I'm not sure if it's offered anymore on Amazon. I bought it like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So we'll have to see if it's still on there or not. But great product. We'll have to see how it works when I get it all installed. But it looks to be a simple wire up. It's just your ground wire, your neutral, your hot wire, and then there's 2 wires that go to this unit. And the blue wires, I bought some extra wire just in case I needed to extend the line a little bit. But yeah, we'll be wiring it up in a little bit. So let's get back to making the box. All right, so we're gonna have to make like a little platform for that to sit on. And I want to be able to, you know, make it pretty watertight. I can't have it just like that. So I bought some, sorry, place is a mess when you're trying to live in it at the same time as work on it. So I bought some roll flashing here. It's just galvanized metal. And then I bought also this right here. This is aluminum waterproof repair tape, but they use it for flashing and all of that kind of purpose. It's 6 inches wide and 25 feet long. I think it was about 15 bucks. So I'll be able to use this for if I ever have any leaks or anything like that. It helps with roof flashing, chimneys, ducts, vents, etc. You can use it on gutters, valleys, roof valleys, and skylight installations. And then I saw here it says RV trailers and vehicles. So that's, you know, I figured, hey, score. Okay, so what I'm working on is the framework. So you can see I did a 2x4 on the bottom here to give it a little bit more stability. And then I have another 2x4 back here so it'll be able to sit on it. This isn't fastened yet. I don't know exactly where I need it. Just kind of doing a rough frame out. I need 12.5 by 12.5. So what I'm gonna do is I have to add, I guess got some plywood material here. So I'm just gonna do like a sandwich layer to give me the thickness that I need all around. I don't have my table saw here. If I did, I would probably just rip some 1x2s or 2x4s, whatever I had, to give me that proper spacing. I'm going to put those filler strips on first and then attach these, so that way when I go to screw the framework of the hot water heater in, it'll fit nice and tight. So that's the step. Got a board set up to do some cuts here, so I got one strip cut so far. I need to cut some more, so let's get some cutting done. All right, let's make this cut. So basically that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this and screw this on here so it gives me the proper spacing, and then I'll attach that and leave this side facing out so I can have a good screwing surface to screw the face frame to. Let's do a quick check here to make sure I have enough. Nope, not quite. So I'm just going to have to cut 4 of them. That's fine, not a big deal. So let's get a couple more of these guys cut. So I use this scrap piece of lumber here as a straight edge. Doesn't need to be perfect, it's just scrap, but I take my piece, put it on the end here, make a mark right here, make a mark right there. Fill it in. So I have my line of how thick I need it to be. Then I measure over 1 inch and then clamp that down. The reason why I do 1 inch is because from the blade to the edge of the fence is exactly 1 inch. So that's what I'll do, and then we'll get to cutting. So we measure over 1 inch, make our little mark over here, 1 inch, make our mark, and we take our straight edge, put it on said mark. Got these little inexpensive spring clamps. These are like $1. They're great. Great for just a second hand, third hand, fourth hand, whatever you might need. However many hands you need for the project. All right, let's zip this off. Alright, so there's for our top and middle. We got 3 of those. The 4th one I'm going to do a little bit wider, since this, we'll just do it the width of the, oops, I'm making a mess here. Do it the width of the piece of 2x4. So 2x4 width is 3.5 approximately. So we'll get that done. We use this piece here as a guide. All right, so let's see. Yep, 3.5. So what we'll do is we'll just take our piece of 2x4 here, go like this. We'll make a mark. That'll be how wide we need it. Oh, gotta get it to the end, John. And again, this doesn't have to be exact. It's just, you're not even gonna see this piece of wood. But it'll do the job. Measure over our inch for the width of the fence. So again, this is just kind of, you know, using the tools that you have. You know, you don't need fancy table saws and chop saws and all that stuff. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could cut this with a jigsaw, a reciprocating saw, anything that would give you a decent cut. A recip saw probably wouldn't work very good, but chainsaw, no, I'm just kidding. I guess you could use a chainsaw. Be a little bit of a rough cut, but you know, as the homesteader saying goes, use what you got. So that's what we're doing. All right, let's zip this off and we can cut them to length. Okay, so I got all my pieces cut and made the little sandwich, if you will. So now I have a 12 and a half by 12 and a half opening, so it'll fit in there nice and tight. These are just kind of sitting in here. I still have to attach them all. And then I have my little ledger board back here that the back of it can sit on. I might put something in the middle, I'm not sure. I do have some extra wood, so maybe I just don't want to add a bunch of weight. So that's about it for right now. The next thing will be to fasten these in and do a test fit. Okay, so I got all my boards cut. I got the little sandwich on there. Now I'm pre-drilling some holes, and these are the screws that I'm going to use, are these ones right here. It's a self-tapping screw. You can see the tip there, so it'll go into the metal. So I just pre-drilled these. They're just a little bit bigger than the hole, and then this I'm gonna have to sink into the wood. I tried to drill, great, now I can't get it out. I tried to drill a slightly bigger hole on top so I could sink the head of this in there, but this is the biggest drill bit that I have with me, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to sink it down. I hope. We'll find out. But this is what I have to self-tap into, is this metal. It's like an aluminum. You can see here's the existing hole right there, and one right up there. So I'm doing them about right here to go into there. So that's what I'm working on now, and we'll get these installed. I got my holes all drilled in my little cleats here. I'll show you real quick. I was able to find a bigger drill bit that will take the head, so this will fit in there no problem. So it'll sink below the surface. So we're gonna go ahead and get these guys installed, and then we can test fit the water heater. So we'll set you guys up in here. Maybe you can see me working. It's a little chilly outside today, a little bit rainy. We'll see if this will work. All right, we're gonna try to center this bad boy in here. All right. Oh yeah, that worked good. It's not super tight though. May have to go a little bit bigger on that drill bit. Alright, I made the holes a little bit bigger here so I could get my socket in there. I'll show you real quick. So now I can get my socket inside the hole so I can snug it down good. So I got one in here and one in here. She's nice and tight. So we'll do the bottom next. Go back to the socket, tighten it up. Alright, that's nice tight. Right down the sides. There we go. I'm gonna have to adjust this piping a little bit. So I have to cut this here and shorten it. So let's do a test fit of the water heater. All right, it might get dark for you guys. Don't get scared. A snug fit. That's snug. Oh, it's hitting those little screws up there. That's okay. Fix that. Screws that hold the frame together is catching right here, but we'll be able to smooth that out. That won't be a problem. All right, let's work on that. All right, so we got the test fit complete. As you can see, I got it in here. Just a little bit of a gap, but we'll seal that up with a sealer. And we got our support board down there. So now I got to shorten these tips right here. Need to wind up right here. So I'm going to have to put that T right about here. So what I'm going to have to do is cut this part out here because I need the curve. So I'm going to have to figure out about how far and how much I need to cut off. So I got to get all this stuff done. I got to screw that board down there. So we'll have to take this out one more time. All right, let's get this measured up. Okay, so I got my frame all built finally after 3 attempts. It was just too tight. I had to make it smaller, and then we had to offset it a little bit. So what we're gonna do is, this is the frame, the original frame that goes around this unit. We're going to install the door that goes on the new unit, And then we're gonna put the old door over it, like so. You can see that little bit of wood, and what I'm gonna do is I have some aluminum flashing that I'm going to put. It's going to start here and just kind of stair step, zigzag, zigzag. I'm going to pull this unit out and just kind of wrap it, just wrap it around the edges to seal it up the best I can. The old unit was just screwed to the face. Water could just get in here. But there's electronics and stuff right here, so I want to try to cover this up and protect it the best I can. So I figured that's going to be the best way to do it. It'll be double sealed basically. So I got to pull this back out. I have to get my plumbing all set up, the gas line shortened because it's about 2 feet too long. I'll try to show that. I think that's it for right now, but we'll bring you back in a little bit and show you step by step. I don't think I'm gonna just film the whole thing because it's already taken me almost 3 days to do this DIY stuff. This is a big job. I thought this would just be easy, take the old one out, put the new one in, but it's turning into a big project. So I'll show you the gas line and the plumbing when I go inside and work on that. Alright, so we're in the camper behind the water heater right here. So my hot's on top, cold is on the bottom. So luckily this is the hot line here. The cold line is that one there. So what I have to do is I'm gonna have to put in a 90 right here, and then have a little piece of pipe about an inch and a half long, and then another 90 going into here. So 90 here, a little piece of pipe, and then another 90. Oops, sorry. So 90 here, a little piece of pipe, and then the other 90. Now this has this like cross piece right here where they kind of like mix together, I guess. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep that because it's there for a reason. Probably to mix the hot and the cold water would be my guess. So I'm gonna have to put that somewhere else. I'm thinking about putting it right in the middle here somewhere and not right on the 90. So I'm gonna have to take this apart from right here all the way back and just basically remake all of this. So we'll start getting this taken apart. Alright, as far as the gas line goes, you can see how long it is. The end of it's way up there in the corner. Well, the gas line attaches right down here at the bottom. So I'm going to have to gently bend this right about here and then come down into here. I'm going to have to shorten this and put a flare on it. I did buy a flare tool, but I didn't buy a bender, so I'm just going to have to carefully. Luckily the copper is nice and soft, so you can see me bending it here. I'm just going to have to gently just bend that, kind of put a soft gentle curve in it to go down to the bottom right here where the gas fitting is. So I'll have to cut that as well. So I got to take this out again and get that taken care of. So we'll get started on those projects. Okay, what I had to do was I had to shorten my copper tubing. So what I did is I used this tool. It's a tubing cutter. And what you do is you open this up, put it down on the little wheels. There's two little wheels here and here. The cutting head is here. Oops. Wheel here and here, and the cutting head is here. So what you do is you tighten it down, and then you rotate this around 1 or 2 turns, and then you tighten it up a little bit, turn it again, tighten it up, turn it again, tighten, turn. You see the pattern here? Tighten, turn, tighten, turn, tighten, turn. And you end up with a really nice cut. There we go. So there's your nice cut. All right, so that's a little example on how to cut. Now what you have to do is, this end needs to be flared. It needs to have like a little cone shape to it. This tool right here is called the flare tool. You can pick it up at any home improvement store. Of course, I have a Husky brand one here. Got it at the Home Depot. It's about $35–40. It's a relatively good one. So you find what size pipe it is. This happens to be a 3/8. And what you do is, the measurements are right here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, you can see my reflection. There's 3/8, so it starts 3/16, quarter, 5/16, and 3/8. So it looks like it's the wrong one because it's so tight. But what you do is you get this lined up. You want it just flush with the edge. I don't know if you can see that. You want it just barely sticking out. Let's see if I could turn this back just a little hair. There we go. So kind of give that a little squeeze. There's a little alignment pin here where that aligns together. And there's these little pins right here, and that corresponds with that. And then this right here is the actual flare part. So you slide this in. And what you have to do is you have to kind of start with the smaller one, crimp it down to tighten it up. Then you keep moving it up. So we move it up to the next one, like so. And you crank this sucker down, so it's nice and tight. I don't know if you can see in there. Let's see. You can see the little tip in there. That's what's going to do the flaring. So then we start turning this right here, and then it starts to flare it. And this is pretty cool. It has a little ratchet action, so it tells you when to stop. Let's see if we can hear it here real quick. There we go. See, it gets loose. It pops out of this little joint right here. So that way you won't overdo it or underdo it. And then as you start to come back, you'll see it slip back into that little hole right there. See? And it started to grab. So you take that out. And you take this out. Slide that guy off. Then you open this up. And there we go. We have a nice little flare. See how it makes like that little cone shape there? And that's what holds it in. There's a little nut that slides over this, and that nut screws onto the fitting, and this forms the seal. It's like a little cone shape. So there's a little short quick tutorial on how to do that. I've only done it one other time, so I had enough material, fortunately, to do a couple of test flares. So that helped a lot. But if you have that chance, you know, you can make a couple of cuts and try it again. You know, put your tool on there, cut it, and then you can give it another try. So there, I just wanted to show you all how to do that. And then I'll show you, I'll try to show you in the camper where I did that at. Okay, right back here where I have the flashlight, you can see the fitting. I'll point to it. So right here is where I did my flare. And this is the little nut that's going to hold this on, and it's going to go right here. There's a cap on it right now, but that's going to go there and then tighten up. I have plenty of made sure I had plenty of play to get it there. I guess it's not plenty, but it's enough to get it there. So we'll be good to go. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh yeah, and then I redid all the plumbing here to make it fit. I think you'll be able to see without the flashlight. So I added this 90 and this 90 here. So let's see if we can show you how this goes. This is gonna go like this. This guy is gonna go like this. Like so. I'll snug all those up. And then I put that cross piece, I don't know if you can see it, right here. So it's like a hot and cold mixer. And then I put the valve right here so I can open and close this valve as needed if you needed to do a repair to the hot water heater. All the water's pretty much leaked out of these lines, so I don't have any issue there. But I think that's it. So now I have to do some wiring. You can see my wires. Let's see right back here. Right here. So the red is your constant hot or your 12 volt DC power, and then your black is your neutral. So I have, this is the power cord right here. So you're saying, but John, this is black and white. Okay, well, black is your hot, white is your neutral. So it'll go black to red and then black to white. So that's how that's going to go. And then I have a ground there. It doesn't show a ground, so I guess you don't need a ground. I might just find a screw or something on the unit itself to ground it out. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on that. And then these two blue wires right here, these two blue wires are gonna go to a remote. So they're kind of short. We're gonna mount it. I'm gonna put a piece of wood right here and we're gonna mount it on the inside of the cabinet. So I'm gonna lengthen these wires. I got some blue wire to match, so I won't confuse it later. So I'm gonna lengthen those wires and then get a little piece of wood and just mount it to here, so when you open up the cabinet door here, you can just access that panel. And that panel, I can show you that real quick. Alright, so this is the panel right here. It has an on, oops, sorry. It has an on-off button there. And then you could do Celsius or Fahrenheit. And these are the up and down as far as temperature goes. So I'm gonna get a little piece of wood and just mount it here like so. So when you open up the cabinet door, you could just reach in and just change it. We were gonna mount it on the outside of that, but you know, we just wanted it to be a little more stealthy, just so it wouldn't be in the way. So it's probably gonna go somewhere in here, somewhere in this general direction. So I'm gonna have to cut a piece of wood and toss a coat of paint on it, and we'll slap that sucker in there. All right, I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, here's the little box that I designed for this. Just a piece of wood, little scrap piece, and then I have this piece here. And the way it's gonna attach, it's gonna attach down here. Let's see if I can do this and hold the camera. It's gonna go something like this. That little scrap piece of wood is for right there. So that way I can attach it, that bottom piece of plywood. So it gives it a nice little space all the way around. Just run a couple of screws right where my thumb is into that, and it'll hold it in place. I think I'm gonna round this corner off right here with the sander. And that'll be about it. I think I'll take a grinder and grind these off right here. There's a couple of nails poking through as well. Do the same thing, just grind it all smooth. That way no one gets cut on it. But it was just some scrap wood that I had laying around, and I think it's gonna look good. So we'll finish getting that installed. That'll probably be at the very end. There's my extra wire. I put on some extra wire so I have plenty of room. I probably only needed about 3 or 4 inches, but if I ever have to slide it out to service it, I don't have to disconnect the wire. And then this wire up here, I don't know if you can see it, the white wire, I put a couple of zip ties up there. I just used a staple gun and stapled the zip ties to the wood, and then I just used the zip ties to hold the wire up out of the way. So I think we're good to go. Got my electrical, my gas, my plumbing. Now we can go ahead and install the hot water heater for good now. So that'll be the next step. Okay, well, after a few rainy days, I finally was able to come back out here and work. Got this all flashed out with flashing tape, and I think we're sealed up pretty good. The way it's gonna work is the main unit's gonna go in with its door, and then the secondary door is gonna go on over that. So it'll kind of be a door within a door. There'll be a little bit of that flashing will show when you take the outer door off, but that's gonna be it. So we'll start getting this installed and we'll bring you along on that. Alright guys, so there it is, all installed. I have to do a little bit of caulking around here. This has got a little bit of a bend to it, but I could fill that in with some caulking. Pretty good down here. This is going to be tricky with this thing in the way. I'm going to have to lean that out. But the top's got a nice tight seal, but not so concerned about that because we'll open this up. So this comes off like that. All right, so then we have the inner door. So I got all the venting and everything. I had to notch it right here to fit around this little guy. So when I open it up, it just goes like that. And there's the other unit. Got it all screwed in all around the corners. I used that butylene tape. It's what is used around all these windows here. It's just this stuff, it just stays sticky forever. And it makes a nice tight seal. So I put a bit of that all the way around it. Sorry, the wind's a little strong today. Hopefully it's not interfering with the video. The hard part was getting these screws in right here. That was the tricky part, to hold the outer frame in. But I did bend this a little bit, so I just got to take some pliers and straighten that out. But after 4 days of fiddling, I am pretty happy with it. This little guy here, it's like a rubber gasket. I don't know why they put rubber around a hot exhaust, but I figured, well, I'll put it back on there. It'll make a nice tight seal. So I'm pretty happy with it. What do you guys think? It's not too bad. Yeah, you can see this when the door is off, but I've learned my lesson. Measure many times. So then this guy just goes back on like so. I can get it on there. There we go. There's that little tab. Come on. It's hard to do with one hand. But anyways, it fell out right there. But anyways, that's how it's gonna look when it's all said and done. I thought it would take, a couple of days. It took me almost a week to get this done. It was a real pain in the butt. All I have left is some electrical connections inside and the water connections. But again, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.